One thing that makes Roon truly unique is the way we use data to enrich your listening experience. In this video, I'm going to explain at a high level how we do that and give you a way to experience it firsthand. When you're designing a system to recommend music, there's a couple of approaches you can take. The simplest is the metadata-driven approach. So for example, you say, we have a song over here that's a folk song by a singer-songwriter from the 1960s, and you match it up to other songs with similar characteristics. Now, you're unlikely to go wrong in that case, but the results may not be particularly nuanced. Another approach is to use machine learning to analyze user behavior. So in that case, you might say that people who like song A tend also to like song B. What that gives you is a connection between two pieces of music, but it doesn't really give you any context about the nature of that connection. So we think of this as being a bit of a blunt instrument. For example, lots of people who like George Winston might also like Megadeth, but you probably wouldn't want to put those two artists back to back in a playlist. We designed a system called Valence, which takes a multi-dimensional approach and uses a couple of different techniques to provide more sensible music recommendations. What Valence does is to start by aggregating data from a huge variety of sources. That could be metadata that we bring in, so for example, credits and lyrics and editorial information, as well as crowdsourced contributions and listening data from our community of expert listeners. Valence identifies every data object it encounters in aggregating that data, whether that's a file on a hard drive or a stream from a music service or a mention of a producer in an article about an album or a concert date where a variety of different artists appeared on a bill. Using these building blocks, Valence forms a database not just of artists' albums and tracks, but also of composers, producers, genres, lyrics, labels, concert venues, which allows us to form an understanding of the relationship between these musical entities, including their popularity, similarity, and the categories into which they naturally fall. The result is a recommendation methodology that consistently takes into account authoritative metadata, expert opinion, popularity, context awareness, and the taste profile of the individual listener. Used together, these approaches allow Valence to make musically sensitive recommendations that are uncanny in their accuracy. This may seem a little abstract, but there's an easy way to see it in action using Roon Radio. Just pick a track that you know well and play it, and Roon will continue to add music to your playlist using the approach I've discussed here. The feedback that we get from many of our users is that Roon Radio has become the #1 way that many of them are discovering music now. If you want to learn more about Valence, including a lot of technical detail that I haven't touched on in this video, check out valence.roonlabs.com.